So let's get to the main story here. It's the Rhode Island Rink shooting, the trans shooter pattern, and the media mental health spin. Those are the topics we're using the trans shooter to really kind of talk more a bit about the patterns that are emerging and how the media tends to spin this. I'm not sure if Michael was on camera when he talked about how they wouldn't even identify the individual truthfully. So to give you guys a quick overview for those who forgot it, a targeted shooting by a trans identifying suspect at a Rhode Island ice rink is folding into what I call a post 2018 cluster of trans non binary mass shooters, thus raising the questions about mental illness, gender dysphoria, gun policy, and media spin. So, this case dealt with a 56-year-old who identified himself or is identified as Robert Dorgan, who also goes by Roberta Esposito. This is my AOC throwing in that accent. Roberta opened fire around 2:30 at the Dennis M. Lynch Arena in Pawtucket, Rhode Island. It was during the senior night high school hockey game. So these were kids. The suspect's ex-wife died at the scene. Their adult son died at the hospital, and the ex-wife's parents plus a family friend were critically wounded. It was really specifically the family that was being targeted. A bystander, a good Samaritan, thank God for good people out there, intervened to help subdue the shooter. But then the guy grabbed a second handgun and had a self-inflicted gunshot wound. This is on me. Honestly, just good riddance because of the fallout from him. He had mental illness. He has this, yada, yada, yada. You know what? It's just enough. So the discussion point, they're saying that no warning signs were there. So, and what someone will say, I'm cruel, but we're seeing a clear trend here, and more on that in a moment. But when you look at this guy, you've got a heavily masculinized, trans-identifying individual insisting he's a woman. We're talking mental health issues, gender identity turmoil, all this tied up in a family conflict with likely steroidal use on top of it when you look at the individual. So, and you put that use with cross-sex hormones. I'm not sure if you guys knew. I asked her 10 zillion questions and confirmed to me hormones rage within them. They are up and down, mentally because of the hormones are taken and the imbalances some are born with. So, your initial thoughts on this, and this time we'll start with Michael. I'm going to post this picture because I want you to respond to this picture because you're saying nobody knew. I looked at that picture. I'm like, really? Nobody knew?
Well, I've only been exposed to what I've seen in the media, and I was surprised that the difference between the initial media reports and some of the follow-on reports. I mentioned the initial media reports. One of them I read, I think it was the New York Times, said the individual goes by two names. Well, there you go. Didn't say that it was a transgender woman or someone who's transitioned. And apparently, this is the full 9 yards that he did, the hormonal, the surgeries, and everything else. So, yeah, I wouldn't want to run into that in the gym. The media is afraid to tell the truth in this. They barely want to mention it. What I watched, maybe it was this one where Tony DeCopel, thank goodness for Barry Weiss at CBS. At the end of the story, they said that he was born a man and now identifies as a woman. That's rare in the mainstream media. They don't like to talk about it. You remember the shooter, I think it was in Nashville, hardly even the press. They're concerned, I'm sure, that other transgender individuals could be hated on, but you can't ignore the fact. The facts are what they are. Shouldn't be afraid to report.
Right. I completely agree. I know you two both are holding office, so you got to be a little wary of how you say things. But I look at these pictures, G, and I'm like, really? You're saying the signs weren't there? I mean, this guy just reeks of issues with his body. I mean, he's still trying to keep the physical masculinity, but claim he's a woman. And he went through the whole 9 yards. And I know through research and speaking to an individual who did this that the hormones are everywhere. So, G, your thoughts on this? And I want to talk about the track record since 2018 on this. Your initial thoughts?
I go to the gym and they're saying don't take steroids because it can create all these different side effects, and that's steroids for a man. Then there's also roid rage, which is a thing because it messes with your hormones. You're taking male type steroids for males and it messes with your brain. When you take hormones designed for the other gender, you just don't know how that's going to affect someone. You're asking, well, were the warning signs not there? Well, not for shooting people. Just because someone's transgender doesn't mean they're going to go off and shoot people. There's plenty of people who are straight or, white males or whatnot doing that too. And you don't have warning signs. It just happens one day. They just lose their mind. But you do add another layer of complexity when you're injecting hormones designed to change who you are.
So I'll push back a little bit. General U.S. adult suicide, lifetime suicide attempt rate is 4.6%. Uh, it's 42% amongst transgender adults. Again, maybe having had some deep conversations with, having done some research, to me, the warning signs are clearly there. I look at his physique, look at his lifestyle, look at some of these stats, and to me, that's a no-brainer. Again, I do more research than the average person, so to me, I wasn't shocked. This was a winner for Trump in 2024, and it dealt mostly with the schools. Girls are for girls sports, but to me, this is one of these 80-20. And my take is this is something that should be front and center in the 26. 7 of these attacks since 2018, none documented before. Am I wrong to think that the potential of future transgender shooters isn't on the horizon? But here, based on everything that's happened the last 10 years with schools, with all these medical facilities, the transition, the hormone pushing, I think we're going to see more of these shootings. I pray we don't. But I think statistically, it's just a matter of time. Am
That's
I
the
looking
word
at
I was going to use, William, is statistically. If you're an analytical and a data person at all, don't ignore the data. Something's going on here. We don't completely have it understood, no doubt, but just what's been happening, I wouldn't be betting against another one within the coming year. It's we got to figure this out, but it's likely to happen again.
Hey, everybody, this is William Del Pilar, founder of Grumblings Media, and I want to say thank you for watching our content. If you want to support our all volunteer efforts at Grumblings Media, smash the subscribe button right here. 100% free, and please consume and share our great content. Click either one of these two boxes for more of our work.